Hey everyone, welcome to our stream. I'm Alfred.
Submarine.
And this is episode 114. So in this episode, we're going to be interviewing Sean and Connor Miller. They were actually on our first interview live stream back in, what, October?
Like
something like
ago.
that. Yeah.
6 months ago,
yeah. It was a long time ago. It feels like so long.
Yeah.
But yet so short. So I'll intro them out. Basically, Sean and Connor, they join us from the YouTube channel Raising Awesome. And basically, Sean, they're like a father and son duo YouTubers. Sean is an engineering team lead for like a major refinery in the Chicago market. And Connor is his 14-year-old son at the time when we first live streamed him 13.
Yeah. I just changed that in the bio.
Yeah. They're recent guest stars on the Ben Heck Show. Well, actually now Element 14 Presents. Well, I guess I should update the bio here because now they've been on it I don't know how many times. And they were also, oh wow, they were also on Dave Jones' EEV vlog. Oh, that's cool. I like that. I like that YouTube channel. So together they make videos and projects to educate Connor and their viewers of modern life skills and lessons. Their goal is to cover every craft, skill, life lesson in our modern world, explained by the time Connor launches from the nest. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that's a nice phrase. Yeah.
So I guess without ado, let's go over to Sean and Connor.
All right. Hi, Sean. Hi, Connor.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good.
Great. How are you guys doing?
I'm good.
Is it cold up there?
It's a little bit. Now we're kind of used to it, I guess, at this point. But every now and then the sun comes out and teases us there. The groundhog also said it's supposed to be a short winter, so
nice.
We're hoping for that.
Yeah, at least you don't have the vortex anymore. That was tough. Yeah. Great. Well, thank you again for coming on the stream. It was great that you guys were our first live stream, and now you're back on again. You guys have been doing so many things with Element 14 Presents, like with the creator and just in general. So we're really excited to ask you questions about it. So here, let me get on the questions over here. So 5 months ago, when we did our first live stream, you guys kind of gave us a sneak peek at this 4D game engine that you were building. And it was right after... What?
They gave us a little hint, remember? That you have to press like M or something along those lines.
Yeah, some like secret code to activate the feature. And basically it's this like game engine that you guys made for an Oculus, right? And you can... well, I guess, could you guys explain it?
Yeah. So right now we definitely don't have the 4D going on in the Oculus. So basically it's a game similar. It's more designed for kids, similar to Five Nights at Freddy's, where you use a tablet like a security console, and so that's where that 4D comes in that you got the feel that you're really looking through cameras and controlling cameras and everything. But we've been working on the game forever, and just as our maker side developed over the years, it dawned on us that we could actually control our actual physical environment while we're controlling the game. So it'd be kind of like the game Five Nights at Freddy's, but whenever you turn on lights, you have lights turning on in a room actually in your house. Yeah. So that's what we put together, and along the way, we filmed the build and everything, and then with Element 14 Presents, we were able to showcase the whole thing head to toe.
Right. When it came out, we actually can you still hear us?
Yes.
Looks like you got stuck for a second. All right. Yeah. When it came out, we actually previewed it on one of our live streams.
Yeah.
Like we went through the video, like to cut through parts of the video, and showed everybody kind of how it worked. Because it was like super cool, like how you showed all the parts coming together, and I think that was like super interesting to see how, because you use like so many different parts communicating with each other, and then like the Matrix Creator was the hub. Right.
So and that was really the exercise of that whole video, was to build what I consider IoT code, which is WebSocket code, to talk between any kind of device, whether it's the Matrix Creator talking to a ESP 8266 module, just using WebSockets to shoot things back and forth, and then making use of ifttt.com as well to control any commercial devices we have on the house, like the light switches and things like that. But also not only that, building that huge amount of code, it was building those circuits there for actuation in the house, throughout. So now we have in our Eagle, we have design blocks that we pretty much just drag and drop in now and kind of Lego together a motherboard very quickly. And so that's what that whole video was about, and the blog is about, to give you one-stop shopping for code and circuits that you can to make your own motherboards to really get any IoT devices talking out there.
That's awesome, yeah. And I mean, I've done some like home automation stuff in my apartment with, I don't know if you guys saw, we released a guide for a Matrix voice light switch. It's just a voice on the wall with a relay. And then I have that now set up in my apartment with a little ESP8266 Adafruit Featherboard connected to a servo to like press a button to turn on my Bluetooth speaker.
Right. Yep.
Which is then connected to like this cool like projector thing that I have in there. But on the topic of home automation, Element 14 and you guys are doing this big like home automation challenge. So would you like to talk a little bit of how you guys are involved with that?
Yep. So they put the challenge out, and first I wanted to actually join the challenge because it's fun to challenge any trolls that are out there in the YouTube video. I'm like, bring it on, let's go for real. But as I talked to them about that, they said it'd be awesome if you could just sponsor it, to kind of serve as a banner over the challenge, and then as the people are working their own projects each week, they could see a blog from us and then see the video come together on it. So that's what we're doing there. So just as a kind of a Connor's a hype man, I guess, for that challenge.
Well,
and so we're definitely using the Matrix Creator along with the Raspberry Pi, the new or newer A+. What do they call that? I don't even know the shape form factor, I guess.
Yeah. Well, the A is the defining the shape. Yeah.
Yeah, we're using that as the hub, and we're going with Alexa for this build,
Nice.
Alexa actuation and different things. And the main reason for that is there's one part of this series for the home automation where we control the garage door opener, and the path I decided to take, Alexa now allows you to, what do they call that? Responses or
routines?
Routines on the Alexa app that allow you to control Alexa remotely, as if you were standing there giving voice commands.
Okay.
So we just thought, well, that'll be easy and intuitive and dovetail well together. So we went with Alexa on that.
Right.
Cool.
So are you doing voice-controlled applications for your home automation project too?
Yeah, that's what I mean when I say we're going with Alexa. It's our hub actually runs an endpoint for Alexa, the software. Alexa always has to have software it's going to land back to. They'd like you to put it on Amazon servers, but if you do a few, twists and tweaks and hacks, you can get it where it'll go to your own server in your own house or your own device in your own house to do the response for Alexa. So then we can turn on lights and control, do whatever we want, with Alexa being the voice hub.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I guess a quick question for Connor. What have you liked best about the home automation stuff, or like what are you excited to make with it?
I think out of all the projects, I really enjoy the more mechanical stuff. I like seeing things move.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
Mess around with.
Yeah, so you get, of course, the garage door, you already got the opener there, but part of this home automation build we're working is we have a whole house humidifier that, it's valving in water to the whole house humidifier to control humidity. And it's not really humidity control, it's when you buy those out of the box, because humidity settings for a house is really temperature dependent, particularly in the winter months. The colder it is outside, if you have higher humidity or don't adjust that humidity, what you'll get is icing on your windows, or really even worse, that just straight up droplets on your windows that can cause mold throughout your house and things like that. So when you buy a whole house humidifier, they come with a humidistat that is totally dumb to the outside. It has no clue where you are in the world. It has no clue what temperature it is out there and what your windows, the glass, are seeing. So that's something in this one we're going to get in there and hack the whole house humidifier and talk to our Nest thermostat, talk to the Matrix Creators humidity, and through all that, we'll be able to control the humidity based on actually outside temperature.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Those are kind of things he likes, because like you'll see when the video comes out, we're cutting out duct work and stuff like that.
Oh,
so
wow.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's invasive.
That's really cool, though.
No, yeah.
And I understand you there, Connor. I mean, I love like the physical things. I mean, I love coding too, but like when I get to design something for my 3D printer and print it out and then just set up the whole thing, or like make a robot or something, like that's what I find the most fun.
Yeah, like our robot arm is one of our favorite projects.
Oh,
like even though it's difficult to code sometimes, it's like super fun to like when you see it actually like moving and like picking up lamps and stuff. Like super fun.
Cool.
So yeah.
Well, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, just I remember last time when we spoke, we had spoken about how like when you used to do YouTube videos, you always tried to have a life lesson tied in with like the technical lessons. For the past few projects like home automation, 4D game engine, what kind of like sort of lessons do you think you've tried to foster in Connor and your viewers?
Of course, at 14, he already knows it all.
Yeah, I bet.
Really, this last one, and definitely that was always our inspiration for getting on YouTube. It started when he was so young that he'd show to his classmates, and now he's gotten older. They just know it's there, and they'll jump in and give him feedback on it and things. And so now definitely our time has been more going towards the Element 14 channel. And so really this was probably our first video, that 4D game engine, where we didn't have that principle in mind. It was really about making the lifelong repository of IoT code and design blocks in Eagle that we can forever just drag and drop and make a project out of. So I could picture him one day, depending on what he goes into. I'm still trying not to force him down an avenue, but I could picture him in an engineering project where it's just zippity bang. He's got that thing knocked out in a week, what normally would take a whole semester to do that.
That's awesome, because sometimes I'll look back on like code from school or stuff like that, but that's still recent for me. Like Connor, when he's like 20 years down the line, can look back at some of the components you're making now, which is so awesome.
Yeah. Imagine
that's
what you'll be making
away about Linux, because I'm getting be an old man, and I'm still typing the same commands as I did, in school in the early '90s, because of Linux modeling Unix and everything and emerging.
It's all it keeps
really
going on.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So cool.
So here, let me look here. Some questions. Where is it?
So we talked a lot about the 4D game engine, about like the, home automation. There's a lot on your plate. Like, are you already having ideas for like potential future projects, or are you like too focused right now?
No, I think there's always those ideas that come in. It's the will you be able to pull it off in a reasonable amount of time? It's kind of like the Sunlight Sleepwalker game. That was one I had that idea 4 years ago, and we're still working on it. That dang game it's going to be 10 years from now. I'll probably still be working on it. So now we try to hone in on things we can complete typically within 3 months or so. With him in school, me working, and work always, the demand goes way up there sometimes. So right now the closest there's 3 going on. One's just kind of a clickbait, in my opinion. I usually like to make things that are for making people's lives better. But what seems to get views is lot of gaming related stuff. So the one of those is kind of reverse engineering out the latest Fallout Pip-Boy. And of course, that one's been done, and I think people have already done the latest one. But we're going to tie it into something like Alexa or something, or if not Alexa, just straight up where the Pip-Boy will serve as the home house automation to turn lights on and off. You know, just dovetail in with the Matrix Creator and send it commands straight from them. If you're not familiar with the Pip-Boy thing, just Google it because there's a lot of gamers love that.
Right, right.
It's the little character from Fallout, right?
Well, no, it's what it is. There's a device on, and yeah, I would call that character Pip-Boy, but there's a device that's called the Pip-Boy, and it's kind of like their mobile device that stays on the character's arm in the Fallout series.
Okay.
And so with that, that's how you change your apparel and look at the map and all that kind of stuff. It's this big bracelet that sits on the arm. So the idea is, you know, make a smart device, 3D print it, and add all the other embellishments to it to make it actually be functional in a home. But that was purely just for, you know, for fun. Another one is for, I guess this one's more for marriage. My dad is making a dollhouse for my wife. She's always wanted a dollhouse. She saw the dollhouse he made for Connor's cousin, and after that he decided to make her a dollhouse. Well, nowadays dollhouses, there's really no need for light switches and stuff in a dollhouse. It really should be voice activated light. So of course that's where we'll go with the Matrix voice and put it on the back out of the way. But then the dollhouse, the fans and the lights and all will be actuated through voice. On that one, I don't look to use Alexa. I'm thinking going with like Snips and those technology, because there's really no need to
like internet.
Yeah, for the internet to control it. But, you know, the fun part also is scheming up how we're going to green screen ourselves into the dollhouse. That's going to be a big part of the video, at least for us, you know.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I love making videos, so that's a fun challenge.
Yeah, you know, just kind of picturing us inside our house looking at us, you know. Like almost a Twilight Zone, you know. Yeah. And I'm trying to think of the other. The other one is really neat. There's a friend of mine at work who has his buddy, long-term buddy. They're kind of like ghost hunters. They're, you know, like on TV they have or they used to. I don't know if it's on anymore. Like I think it's called Ghost Hunters. Yeah. And those guys, just in the last few years, they started having, you know, maker devices on that show. Oh. But they were always well, I hate to put down other people's work, but they're usually just a couple of LEDs or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so he came to me and he had heard that we were doing all this, and he said, "Hey, can you make us a ghost catching camera?" And so with a Raspberry Pi solution, an infrared camera, you know, and sensors out the wazoo, and 3D printing, a little bit of welding for the frame and all that. Oh, wow. We're making him a camera that also he can just put in a room, and then it'll check for anomalies in the room. Of course, it's all physical anomalies, like sudden shifts in temperature, humidity, you know, motion and stuff like that. Just physical
That's what ghost hunting is all about.
Yeah.
So,
you don't have a supernatural sensor?
They'll use it on their channel.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so, so when we spoke last about the grandfather clock you guys made, and when I've seen like the 4D game engine that you guys built, you guys typically work with HAL, right? Matrix HAL?
Yes.
Cool. So have you looked at all into our latest library, or have you heard yet our latest library, Matrix Lite?
I have not used it yet, and early on there, I'd say around in June, you already had some things for Python and the next layer up there, the Matrix OS
Matrix Core.
Yeah, and then I real quickly I got to the HAL stuff, and because I've been so used to now, you know, Java, JavaScript, and you know they all kind of seem the same. You know, got a semicolon on the end. That's where I was able to jump right into the C++ after dusting off how to compile and all that. but I hadn't seen that yet. I have not pursued that yet.
Okay, well, basically, it's this like new library that Carlos from our team has been working on, and essentially, it's like, so let's say we have like matrix HAL here as the base of everything. Matrix core was like one layer, and that had like Python, JavaScript, Go, and you could do a bunch of languages with that because it had like 0MQ and protocol buffers from Google. But I guess like next to that, directly above HAL, we've made this new one called Matrix Lite, and it interfaces directly with HAL, doesn't have this like local server on your device. Okay. And right now we've built it out for JavaScript, and the whole point of it is to just super easily program the device. Right. You don't have to deal with like everything with C++. We have it like right now in JavaScript. We're putting it in Python right now. But the whole thing is super fast. It's basically HAL because it's just a wrapper over HAL. Yeah, but in different languages, like super quick. So it'd be something cool for you guys to check out. It could make your when you go through the code on the videos, it could make it easier.
Right. Yeah. No doubt. Yeah.
They would definitely shorten the code, and I feel like also like if you ever use like tools that are primarily coded in Python or primarily coded in JavaScript, then it's like easier to have that like integrated code in like the same language. Right. So like for stuff like that, it could also probably be useful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And particularly in the C++ world, it was interesting. Normally you can Google, and within the top 3 hits you get your answer when you're coding. And putting in there, trying to get WebSockets, the search is so polluted with everyone's own custom library solution, and then you go down that bunny trail, and man, there's some overhead and confusion. And is anyone really supporting this? And you see a GitHub full of errors and push and all that. And then eventually I found that it's really standard functionality of C++ in general. I finally found that magic. That's already just inherent to what's already comes with Linux, and but even that code, although it's really easy to implement because you don't have to do anything, you just add a one include and boom, you're there. But the code is really ugly to connect and hit a port, wait for a response and all that. It is some ugly code. Now, luckily, we after going through all that pain and research, now we got it copy paste mode. But definitely for someone that would be going after that JavaScript, it'd be nice if you had those libraries that just had a couple function calls where you could say, hey, here's an IP address, here's a port, go hit that other WebSocket out there. And that way all these devices can get to talking like you want them to for a home automation project or something. Yeah.
And with JavaScript, you could easily use something like socket.io to just make things much easier. On my little ESP8266, I don't know how many hours I spent trying to get socket.io to work on that, like finding a bunch of different libraries from different people. It was a hassle, and it kind of works, kind of. It crashes after a while, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go and check out your copy-paste socket code, because I actually also went down the rabbit hole of looking for good, like server client code in C++, and it's just so many GitHub repos. You just don't know which one is legit and like which one is actually gonna help. And I might tap
on our element14.com blog on the 4D game engine. You'll find that code in there where you can rip it out. I'm pretty sure I got the client and a server all resolved, and it should come over pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, at the end of the stream, we'll definitely screen share and show everybody the Element 14 page, where your home automation blog is, the 4D game engine video, and also put all those links in our description so people can check them out too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the hours of research, like Steve Jobs said that there's no sane person would want to do that. And so that blog pretty much lets someone just skip all that research, all that Googling, or courses. I mean, I imagine they teach this stuff now, but you skip all that, go right to that code.
Yeah, it's definitely nice if somebody else does all that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we go through the same thing when we make our Hackster guides. We try to make it so everything is there for you. You can just follow it. It's all explained. Right. You don't need to spend hours researching anything. We did that for you.
Yeah.
You know, doing what we wish we had.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So last time you had actually when we had asked you how we could improve the Matrix platform, and you had said maybe we could, you know, open up FPGAs. That was a suggestion you had given to us. We attempted to do that last week. We had a live stream, very simple guide on like how to set up the FPGA environment, and you know, a very simple code example. And, you know, I'm new to FPGA programming myself, so obviously couldn't do something super complicated yet. So, you know, given that, and would you have any other suggestions for how we could, you know, open up the platform for developers such as yourself who are more advanced?
And I appreciate the FPGA one. And I started watching because I got stuck in front of or behind a train that was blocking a road out in the middle of the country. Oh. Luckily, I had cell service, and you guys you know, it alerted me that the live stream was on, and I was watching.
That's funny.
It was like the train was stuck there for like 10 minutes. I was like, just get to the good part, and then I had to go. Oh. I had to drive again. So I definitely need to loop back around to that. For me, I'd like to understand it on the Matrix and get a working example of a self-balancing robot. What do they call those things? The segways.
Mm-hmm.
Or hoverboards or whatever. To make a little robot like that with the Matrix, for me, that's the kind of code I definitely want to tuck away and have forevermore. Using the FPGA, you know, so it'll have the speed you need to I would imagine that it would take to keep the balance that you want on that. And I've seen a demo of the Matrix with a little balancing robot there. I wasn't sure if that was FPGA or not.
Yeah, that was one of our engineers made that really early on, like with one of the prototype boards.
Okay,
and I feel like he actually programmed it on the M3. Because all the sensor data is already going through the microcontroller, so it's, you know, and there's plenty of space on there to do other things. So I think he did it on there. Yeah.
That would definitely be a video I would pitch to Element 14. Once I get the understanding of how to program the FPGA, that would be a good build there. There's definitely, when you look in the comments and things, anytime there's FPGA out there, people are wanting to know more. And so definitely, I'm going to personally pursue that one more anyway.
Yeah, I'd love to
other thoughts I have in general for you is once you got the JavaScript and the Python going, or you may already have it there, on your website, I think the Raspberry Pi Foundation serves a really good example how they just put out the panels of your, you know, simple tutorials, you know, starting with blink, then you go to a servo, you might go to temperature, you know, basically do a pane, you know, where someone can go and say every dang sensor that people would want to play around with, have an example in there with that tutorial code. Right. Early on, even today, if I'm messing around with an Arduino, I simply go after those examples up in the, you know, you go file examples or whatever, and then I cobble together my loops and my setups, and of course it has all the references at the top, and then you do your modifications. So in the end, you got like one setup, but it's calling other routines that were actually the setups from those other tutorials. Right. So a person just trying to cobble together a bunch of code in a hurry. It'd be awesome if for this, where on your website they could just go and get that, you know, just see the example. There's blink for an LED, you know, there's a switch, there's a servo. That way you can just cobble it all together.
I like the idea. I mean, we kind of have that in our documentation, the references for every sensor and every component.
Right. Yeah.
There are examples. But having it all in one place, maybe having it like downloaded with the like libraries when you just install everything, and maybe replicating the Arduino one so it's more familiar to people. I like the idea.
Yep. In the Raspberry Pi Foundation too, how they got it. It's very it's like kid friendly. I could see a physics teacher in at a middle school being able to say, "Hey, I'm comfortable with this. This is something I could roll with."
There are physics teachers in middle schools?
No, yeah, high school, I guess.
Yeah, more high school, but yeah, no, I like the idea. We'll for sure look into that.
That's a really good thought, actually.
Yeah, thank you.
Like just organizing it in a way that it builds off of each other is probably helpful. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess, Connor, a question for you. I would imagine you're pretty advanced compared to your classmates. But what do you think, or if you've given any thought of like how to make it easier for them to get into things that like this and things that you're doing? If they don't have an amazing dad like yours, exposing you to all these things, doing all these amazing projects, which I mean is an incredible thing. I don't know. How do you what do you think would get them interested in stuff like this?
Well, I know in my history class of all things, we did the International Hour of Code.
Okay.
Back, and I feel like in reality, we just need more days like that just to expose kids to that sort of that world that they may not be so familiar with. Because definitely, without having him programming and showing,
I program him too, though.
A little bit of both.
Yeah,
a lot of bugs.
Without him working on things all the time and me seeing it, him showing me how things work and all that, I wouldn't have probably picked that up at all.
Right.
Yeah.
It's definitely a good point. I feel like the fact, like the exposure itself.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah, I mean, like I guess I was exposed a little bit to it, but I kind of self-exposed myself, I guess. But just like stumbled upon it, and that's how I like started programming when I was super young. And but yeah, that exposure is a huge thing. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, I coded for the first time in my life at age 19. So,
wow.
You know, like I just wasn't exposed to it in high school. It wasn't a thing that people did in my school, and it wasn't a thing that was ever talked about at home. So, you know, it just very much depends on how the system that you're in works.
Yeah,
right.
Or luck. Like do you guys know the game Roblox?
Yeah.
So when Roblox was super in the beginning, back when my parents still had dial-up, when I was 10, I like found that game and I started that's like how I started programming in Lua. Just I taught myself from there. But that's like just, you know, sheer luck and me not, you know, getting interested in it myself. But finding a way to expose.
And that's where I look at the Raspberry Pi guys, and I don't dive deep into it. They have enough going on that you just pick it up. You know, you just see it in places here and there. But it looks like over in England, they're big on it, and as far as Minecraft being part of the install, where you can actually code. I think it's in JavaScript.
Yeah, it's in
Java. Python. I think that was our first Python actually. Python script was programming Minecraft with Python. And over here in the States, though, when you Google that, you'll find that, you know, over in England, I just picture every kid over there just programming away. Definitely not that kind of introduction here at all.
And just look at the BBC Micro. There's an echo.
Yeah.
But with the BBC Micro, I think they gave that out to like every kid in the UK, or at least like, you know, lots of them per school, which is amazing. And I wish they did something like that here. But you know, just finding ways to expose kids in a, I don't know, maybe like through YouTube somehow, making cool videos like, like the Pip-Boy, like that could inspire somebody to look more into it and, you know, get introduced to the whole world.
Yeah, it seems like gaming is a big way for a lot of kids to like at least like have the thought that, oh, there's code behind this game. Or...
Yeah, I mean that's how I was introduced.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
I don't even like playing games, and Roblox with the programming and is how I was introduced to it. So.
Yeah. So definitely interesting to think about.
Yeah.
Is
and
Connor
one other thing, kind of different topic that I would think would help people with the Matrix would be, and maybe there's legal issues or something on this, but a preloaded SD card already stick some stuff on there like voice, to me, Alexa or something like that. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
We made a kit just for that with like a Pi and an SD card with Raspbian and all our libraries on it already.
Yeah, it has libraries, the examples. So like, definitely like you got it spot on. Like I think part of the whole like installing things, if you're new to it, might scare you away.
Yeah, it's intimidating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully, like, the kits have been like helping people, cross that barrier. But it's also an interesting thought to have some like more complicated examples on there, like Alexa or Snips, like to pull people in. Like it's an interesting thought for sure.
Yeah, definitely like Snips where you can start controlling things right off the bat with voice. I could see that being something that would really pull someone in and have a lot of fun with.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. That's interesting.
And a lot of things like I look at, of course, this is a lot of years ago. I'm talking Commodore VIC-20 kind of stuff. But a lot of the parents aren't familiar with it either. But they are the ones that are going to unbox it there, shoulder to shoulder with their child and use it. So you really got to make it dad proof, basically.
Yeah.
Don't want them throwing across the room. My dad did that back in the Atari days, and those were tethered controllers that almost got hit by it when it bounced back. It's so bad. That's actually a true story. It's kind of funny.
That's really funny.
In our family.
Different time.
I think anyone my age actually experienced that. The bounce back Atari controller.
Oh god.
Wow, that's really funny.
Yeah, probably my parents would know that. Yeah, they had Ataris. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Well, I think we've gone through all the questions. Gone through a lot of things, really.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything else before we wrap it
that you
up?
would like to announce or say to our viewers?
No, just I guess, like I said earlier, there is a lot of good code. It's just free open source code cobbled together across the internet that if you are a hobbyist that want to get devices talking to one another, whether it's the matrix to a ESP 8266 or just two 8266s talking, any microcontroller, check out those blogs on Element 14, not just ours. You'll find all kind of folks out there that blog and post codes and examples and great things. And, it's just a great way to learn and avoid a lot of the unfun part of learning through the internet there. Just go straight to a finished project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great.
Okay.
Well, thank you guys for coming on the live stream again. It was awesome talking. Connor, hopefully you get to make some more hardware-related things. I saw that you have a DaVinci printer behind you, so that's
we
fun.
got one right here out of view, the Pro, and it's amazing the things like half of what that one cost me and twice as good. And so I actually went to buy a print head. And when I went to buy it, I looked on Amazon. It was like for $150 more, and get the whole new printer that now.
Oh my god!
It does I'm not tied to their 3D filament and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
I love it. So now I got two.
Nice.
Yeah, when I was first looking at, I have my own printer at home, and when I was first looking at buying one, I was debating very much between a DaVinci, a PrinterBot, and a Robo 3D, which is what I ended up getting. But yeah, the DaVinci with the the cartridges that were specifically for them, and there weren't too many people out there at the time that had hacked them to hack the EEPROM to be able to use your own. So I just ended up getting the Robo 3D, and I've done so many modifications to that printer. Oh my god, I've drilled into the carriage and replaced the entire print head, the entire extruder mechanism. Upgraded that.
That's another good way, you know, kind of looping back just real quickly to getting kids into the maker hobby and electronics and engineering. Is you know, the 3D printers have gotten they're cheaper than a game console now.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that more and more families will consider actually getting a 3D printer, because you can learn a lot in that little device there.
Yeah. Or at the very least, like schools having them. A lot of schools now have them.
Yeah.
And so exposing the kids there, like, you know, the design something in Tinkercad, print it in school. It's, you know, step one.
Yeah.
No doubt. Alrighty.
Right.
Well, thank you guys so much. Have a great night. Hopefully it gets a little warmer for you guys.
No doubt.
All right.
Cool. And we're excited to see what else you guys come up with.
Yep.
For sure.
Okay. We'll see you.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cool. All right. So before
I saw Carlos's hand waving there for a split second.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I saw that, Carlos.
Okay, so before we switch screens, we're just going to quickly go over, you know, Sean and Connor have posted a lot on our projects page.
Oh, look who's here.
So you should also post on our projects page. Are you here to talk about light as well? Or oh,
he thought the stream ended.
That's really funny. Okay, so projects page, this is like their home automation with the Matrix Creator page. So they link to their currently 4-part home automation series. I'm sure there's more coming. So be sure to check that out. This is part 1. And they talk about all the different parts they use, what they use them for, what different projects they're doing. Their beautiful cat that we saw in the stream.
Yes, Tank.
So, you know, definitely check that out. I'll put these links in the description as soon as the stream is over. And then this is the 4D Matrix Creator, Matrix game engine. You know, that's also super cool. They go over all the components.
Yeah, great, nice.
And, you know, then they, like, give you a little demo, which is also super fun. So check that out. And this is their YouTube channel as well. So, yeah, let's go back to our screen.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Well, that was awesome. Man, they're doing a lot of fun things. I wish my dad was like Sean.
No, for sure.
Like doing some, like, I don't know, that exposure at such a young age is really valuable.
It is. It is. And, like, honestly, the part that blows my mind the most is that, like, he has a full-time job, and Shauna goes to school, like, you know, full-time, essentially, and, like, they still have time to juggle all of these projects together.
Yeah, and
like,
and these are, like, intense projects. Like, I mean, we do projects, but they're much simpler than what, they're doing.
Yeah, like, you know, it's difficult to put so much effort, time and effort into.
Yeah, like he was
such
saying,
a
like
huge...
3-month-long project. Like that's a lot.
Yeah,
and it shows like in the videos and the whole blog. It's really good.
Yeah, and like, you know, now that they have the legwork for it, like the home automation one is taking a lot from the 4D game engine one, so you know you can build off of yourself and then build completely different things.
Yeah, and all the Eagle models that they have
Mm-hmm.
to just drag and drop it. It's really good.
Super
it's
nice.
Making it easier for themselves too to make them.
Exactly. Well, that was super. Also, like, I took notes during that.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, I was like, these are good ideas. So I actually took notes. Yeah, it was good to hear the feedback, for, you know, what they would like to see, and like, you know, just like the way we present like our projects. Yeah. Because, you know, like. Yeah.
I hadn't thought of like making the Arduino like example. It's a good idea. Like, you know, Arduino's a huge community. If you go from that, see the same like Blink example. It makes it easier.
Like it triggers like like I know this.
Yeah,
kind of
yeah. Like if you were just introduced to Arduino a little bit in school, and then you go to this and you see it, it's
similar.
It's easier.
Yeah, exactly. It makes sense.
I like the idea. We'll look into it.
Yeah. Okay, so do we have announcements?
Announcements,
the
yes. So, again, as we've been doing for the last couple of weeks, hinting towards this contest that we're going to be doing on Hackster with Snips and ARM. No updates on it at the moment. Well, at least not for you guys. But, yeah, so stay tuned for that. We'll have updates on that on our Twitter, at @matrix_creator. So that's that. Additionally, like Sean kind of pointed out, our Matrix kits. So I can show it here. You want to switch to the screen?
Yeah, so I will switch to the screen. So you can see our educators page where, you know, we kind of show how you could use the Matrix Creator and Matrix Voice in different, like, you know, courses and, you know, subject areas, and then these are the kits to help you with that.
Yeah, so the kits have either a creator or a voice, a Pi 3B Plus, power supply, some spacers, and an SD card that is already flashed with Raspbian Desktop, all of our libraries, although, ooh, we should update it for Matrix Lite, add Matrix Lite on there.
Yeah.
Hear that, Carlos? So yeah, it has everything on there already, so all you have to do is plug it in, you know, connect it to our screen or SSH in, and start programming. Super simple. So the kits are selling like hotcakes. This is like the only one I could find in the office right now that's built. But yeah, go check it out on our website, matrix.one/educators, or our store page, store.matrix.one. You can see them all there. And then what else? Any other announcements? So you want to talk about what we're doing with the Home Automation Challenge? The blog that was just released today?
Oh, we didn't release it yet.
Oh, no, not ours. The one that Tariq did.
Oh, so, yeah, we can talk about that. We're actually going to be on a live stream series on Element 14, essentially, and it's like new for them. You know, they're just trying it out. We're like, you know, their first like beta test period people. I'm actually gonna pull that up real quick so we can show you all,
because we're so amazing at live streams.
Yeah, we have lots of experience.
Yes. We've done at least one.
Let's see. Home automation.
Let's see. You want to switch the screen to?
I will. I'm just kind of seeing if I can here. Pull it up before I go on there. Cool. So this is so Tariq, you know, he basically runs Project 14, and he goes over here. He uses a really funny picture of us.
Oh yeah, that picture. Oh my god.
He goes over like what it's basically going to be. So the first one is tentatively set for April 4th. And it's basically going to be a live stream with Sean and Connor, and another Element 14, Project 14 community member. And basically, they will be in the interview with us. We'll be talking about the Matrix Creator, how you can use it. Before the live stream, there will be these discussion topics put out. There's actually a poll for it right now. So as you can see, there's a poll, okay, how the Matrix Creator can be used in home automation or voice-specific automations. So based on the poll, depending on like which topic the community decides to, you know, focus on, there's going to be a discussion on it, and then the community will hopefully during the live stream ask questions, and then depending on, you know, how engaging your questions are, you could get a free Matrix Creator.
Yeah.
So, you know, definitely.
Who doesn't like free stuff?
Yeah, so definitely check it out. Free swag, free Matrix Creator. And, you know, I'll post a link to this in our description as well.
Great.
And, you know, please go check it out.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. So I think that's it. I'm trying to think. Carlos, do you have any updates on Matrix Lite progress?
Still working on Python.
Still working on Python. Carlos loves Python.
Yeah, no sarcasm or any hidden intonation.
At all. or head movements.
Nothing's wrong with it. It's just compiling's taking a while. So
Oh, okay. Yeah. Carlos is used to JavaScript where you just save it and run and you're done.
No. I meant like, so basically since I'm writing C++, I have to wait for that to compile and then I can run my own code.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that doesn't
Like the
help.
JavaScript took me like 15 to 30 seconds to compile, so any little change would take X amount of,
Right,
Yeah.
right. So anyway, behind the scenes, you know, struggles with...
This is what it takes to make the libraries.
But, yeah, so I think those are our, you know, main...
Oh, Sean from Martine says, call Carlos, bring him into the stream.
We tend to make that a segment sometimes.
Yeah, I guess this is a
Let's call
continuing
Carlos
segment.
over.
Randomly call him.
But usually he has important things to say, you know,
Yeah.
like, you know, relay Matrix Lite and the ongoing updates.
Maybe we should make that a segment, make a cool banner, like Matrix Lite update.
Our
Like-
graphics designer can work on that.
Oh yeah, he'll love it.
Yeah. So I think for now this is good. Next week we will come with more announcements.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
for
Cool.
today, I think we
Yeah,
can
I
wrap
think
it up.
that's it. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining the stream. This has been Alfred.
Some rain.
And if you're not already, follow us on Twitter at Matrix_Creator. On Facebook, it's Matrix Creator. On
Instagram,
it's
Matrix_Creator.
Creator. I'll memorize this at some point. I got the Twitter. I like Twitter more.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it. So thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.